Special Sundays radio show. I am your host, Miss Special, here with
Sene.
Yes, indeedy, finally making it happen. You just actually released a beat 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Believe you me. What is that? Was it just like a random release? Is it going to be on something where you're like, I just got to get this out? Or
I guess I just woke up and I was like, oh yeah, I have that. Let's do that. And I just woke up and said, okay, I'm going to put that out and let people hear it.
I like that a lot. That's dope. And then you brought on Tumblr that you were going to like break down, how do I pronounce it, Brooklynite?
Yes, ma'am. That
you were going to break it down. You were also going to talk about how the album came to be, and you haven't done it.
I have not done it yet. I'm lucky enough to have been a little busy since the record came out, and I'm going to get on that this week since you called me out on it.
I mean, I figured we could do it right now, or whatever you want to do. Whatever you're comfortable with. I don't want to, like, put pressure on you.
Well, that's fine. We can do that right now.
Okay. So how did the album title come to be?
After being back in Brooklyn, I lived in California for 5 years. I moved out there when I was 18. And after being out there for 5 years, I came home. And I'm lucky enough where the press has been good since, I started releasing music. But I'd always read things like the West Coast artist or the Los Angeles native. Even when Brooklynite, when I announced the title, which is funny, but I'm jumping steps. So I figured, I was like, all right, not only to remind people where I'm from, but just to kind of, just to let them know where the mind state was and where I'm coming from and what influences what I'm saying. I wanted to do something, and I like playing on words. The release right before it was Exodus, but spelled Exit Us. And that has a whole nother meaning. But with Brooklynite, it kind of felt like it became a joke almost. As crazy as that is to hear, because you have cats like Homeboy Sandman, YC the Cynic that are really, really incredible. Not just for New York, they're incredible across the board. And you have people like that making music and science, and you have people being like, oh, New York fell off. And I'm like, that's because you're looking for the wrong things. So it was kind of like everyone kept joking, like, all right, let's see if you're the knight in shining armor. It was kind of a joke. But I was like, all right, Brooklynite. I'm going to make it Brooklynite, but with a K-N-I-G-H-T. And I just flipped it on that. And even when that came out, people were like, the West Coast native drops Brooklynite. And I was like, yo, people are really, really just not all there. But yeah, so that was I just kind of wanted to make the statement of, here's where I'm from, here's where I am, and this is what's influencing what I'm saying.
I like that. That's super dope. So you've done a lot of collabs. Are collabs easy or hard for you? Because I've talked to people and they're like, I actually don't even like doing collabs because it's just one verse, so it's so short. But then there's other people who are like, oh, like using other people's ideas is really dope for me. So what's your stance on doing collabs?
It's always nice to collaborate with like-minded individuals, and especially when they're talented and you have access or your friends and you have relationships with them. It's nice to, I wouldn't say milk them, it's nice to just link up and see what comes. And especially I've been lucky enough to work with some great cats, as you see by visiting here. And so for me, collaboration is just a chance to build on something together. You know what I mean? You can always build something alone, but sometimes it's nice. Someone sees something differently. It's like an ink blot. Someone holds it up and you may see the Grand Canyon, and they may see a naked body. And so it's kind of like that. And that's what happened with Brooklynite, really. When I got out to Switzerland, I played No Games a few songs, and he was like, wow, you have the great start to songs. And I was like, great start? He's like, oh yeah, I mean, you laid your parts, but we have a lot of work to do. Like, you have a lot of work to do. And he was right, he was raising the bar for me. He was like, yo, the raw talent is there, but now you have to take those extra steps that people don't take. And so anyway, that's a good example as to how collaborations work, is that I thought something, because I did a good job on it in my mind, was there. He was like, you did a great job. Now it's time to do more. I don't like to do it just for the sake of having people. Sometimes people do it just for the name value. I like to do it because I think that they can add something. And so you'll notice that it's very rarely random. Everyone I work with, whether it's Cost, Science, Blue, Homeboy Sandman, I have relationships with these people. And so it's not just like, yo, I like your stuff, let's work. Once in a while that'll happen. I'm about to do that with the homie Chuuwee.
That's one of my best friends. That's so weird that you say that. Yeah, because I grew up in Sacramento, so I've known him forever. So that's dope. Yay!
Yeah, we dropped projects on the same day. I think my Brooklynite came out the same day his project came out. So with all the buzz going for each project, kind of like gave each other a nod, like, okay, let's build on something. So that's more of a, you know, there's not as big of a relationship built yet, but just because of location and schedules.
I'm pretty mad that he didn't tell me that, but whatever.
It's kind of one of those things where I think it's my end that's been messing up. Like, he's been ready, and just with everything going on right now, I have yet to sit down and really knock something out to send that way, but that'll happen.
And then you also do short films. What kind of inspires those?
I love film, and when I was little, as like a means for the family, I used to like act and model and stuff as a little kid, and you know, getting older, I can't model anymore. Too many scars for that. Not good looking enough for that anymore. But it was just something where it's like it's in me to write that kind of stuff, and me and Blue had talked about doing a lot of short films with my first record, Day Late and a Dollar Short, and because of label presence or lack thereof, with them kind of playing games budget-wise and whatnot, we weren't able to do certain things. But with the years that have passed, people have empowered themselves and learned how to do things. So we were like, all right, if we can make music videos, we can make shorts. And so I had spoken to a few different people on the West Coast and the East Coast about the ideas for shorts, video people, and they were like, that's a great idea. If we can get like 20 stacks or 30 stacks together, we can make that happen. And I'd been working a lot with Aaron Is Not Cool, just like improv style work, where we had an idea and that day we'd pull the camera out and do it. And so the Brooklynite, the first short, the 5-minute one, that was one of those days where I had an idea, I said it to him, and he was like, let's do it. And we're like, do you want to do it now? I'm like, yeah, let's do it right now. And so we did that one on the spot. And feel was kind of one of those things, but we knew it was a little bit more preparation. So I hit them with the script, and Pace Rivers and Aaron Is Not Cool were like, we can make this happen. And I was like, that's funny, because people told me it was going to cost me $30,000. And they're like, no, won't even spend 30 days on it. We'll be good.
That's crazy. And then speaking of your modeling career, I don't know if you're going to take offense to this, but somebody on Two Dope Boys said you look like an underwear model with a scarf on. How do we feel about this? See, I think they're trying to diss you, but I thought it was nice. Like, what's wrong with an underwear model? Like, okay.
Funny. You know, my homie Justin, who works out on West Coast, we used to laugh. The first time I ever got posted on the site, I was like maybe 20 or 19 or something. And they were like, this kid's really dope for looking like he just hopped off a Gerber package. And so he's still, to this day, you know, like 6 years later, he still makes fun of me for it. Every time he's like, oh, you remember the Gerber thing? I'm like, yeah, I remember that, man. Thanks, I remember that.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, they could be like, oh, look at this ugly motherfucker. You know what I mean? So
I mean, to be quite honest, how I deal with it is, and Aaron knows, we speak about it all the time, I don't read comment sections. Because whether it's really great stuff or really bad stuff, and luckily I have a lot of good press out there, but I find that out through a thumbs up or thumbs down from one of the homies. Like I spoke to Sly5thAve the day the record came out, and Sly was like, I was like, just tell me thumbs up or thumbs down, and he's like, thumbs up, way up, and I was like, all right, cool. But whether it's really good press or really good comments or really bad comments, both of them can affect you really poorly. You can either get gassed on yourself or get really low on yourself. And so I just really stay away from reviews. I haven't read a review or a comment section probably maybe around 2 years, and it'll stay that way because my mind state really improved when I wasn't worrying about it. And like I said, you know, homies like Sly or Aaron will just say, or Pace will say, yeah, thumbs up. I'm like, cool. And you know, you can't you know, live and die with what, you know, Superman behind a keyboard says. And so I'll read write-ups as far as, like, you know, when someone will post something, I'll read what the writers have to say about it once in a while. But full reviews for like an album, I'll stay away from. Even if they reach out to me, like, you know, say we love it, I'll trust that they said good things. But I stay away from things like that. So that's how I deal with things like that. It's fun.
See, it makes sense, though, because there's a bunch of random people who are going to say whatever, but you're actually going to other talented people and seeing, okay, did they like the record?
I only hit up, you know, Sly's part of the record, Blue's part of the record. Aaron was a big part of it. Pace was a huge part of it. No Game. So I'll ask them what they feel, but then I'll also ask them, because I know they read reviews still. And that's where the thumbs up, thumbs down method came. And I was like, all right, you read such and such? All right. I don't really want to know, but thumbs up, thumbs down, and they're like, thumbs up. And I'm like, all right, cool. But I mean, I can't at all. It'll drive, you know, it'll drive anyone nuts. I tell Aaron all the time, he'll be like, oh, some people love this video. I'm like, man. you're going too far. Don't even. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it would mess up the creative process and everything like that.
Especially with something like Aaron or Pace. When I say Aaron is not cool, and Pace Rivers. When I say Pace, even them, I'm like, man, don't let someone else stifle your creativity. So.
And then, of course, speaking of Pace, the new single, Salty Dog's Mark of the Beast.
Oh, yeah. I had loved that beat from the day he played it for me. And so I had brought it out to Switzerland, and No Games loved it, and he made me play it every day. And literally every day before a session. And so, because he just, oh, it's so creative, man. And he just, every day. And so I had slept on it for a while, but I promised him that either I would rock it or I'd find someone that was dope to rock it. And I had been rapping to myself as one does. And I came up with the first few lines. Never thought I was going to rise or I was going to fall back. I was like, Doughboy, I'm going to get the ball back. And once I did that, I was like, oh, if I sped that up, that may... And I went looking for the beat immediately. And sure enough, I was like, yep, this is it. And wrote the rest of the verses, went and recorded immediately, sent it out. And they were like, yep, don't touch it, leave it, don't touch it. And so
is that going to be off of something or a random release, or is he doing a project, or?
That's going to be on Pace Rivers EP. That'll probably be in the fall, which will be probably a small amount of tracks chock full of the best. Chock full of the best, expect to see all the people we mentioned probably hopping on that, and some probably crazy visuals. I'm sure if he does do visuals, it'll be crazy. So
good stuff. The Young Leaders. Crazy dope. Is there really gonna be a project? Because that's what the rumor is, and if it is, oh my god.
Alright, I'll say this. If there's a project in the works, that's not on it. That was I had chopped the beat. I had, that sample free, so when I say chop, I mean like work on things and sample myself. And I had made that and recorded a verse, and I know we had been speaking about working on something. So I was like, alright, I'm going to send you guys something. And then maybe 2 days later I sent that out, and then they immediately turned their stuff around, and I was like, alright, I guess it's made to be. Yeah. That song's made to be. So we had mentioned it, and then sure enough, people, as soon as I mentioned it, people started like, oh, they're doing a song, and it kind of got its own legs. Yeah. And so I was like, alright, as soon as I get a mix on this, we'll give it to the world. Like, we won't, I'm not really one for sitting on things anymore. Like you saw with the Salty Dogs thing, and and so we just hit it out, and immediately,
crazy.
I forget who started it, but someone said something about, maybe it was the homie Shake. Maybe it was the homie Shake, and he said, that there's a project, something coming, and I was like, damn, people talk, huh? So there may be something in the works. I'll say that. I'll say there may be something in the works, but that won't be on it.
And I'll say that we need that. I hate putting you on the spot, but I just read things and I'm like, okay, I'm going to let him clear this
up. Good.
I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong too. Denisha
ODG.
Yes.
She lives here.
Nice.
Yeah, she lives in the clubhouse. So,
her project. So you're doing all the writing, including, like, all of it?
The writing.
Okay.
The writing on that. And the homie Nolan right there, that guy, you can't see him on camera. He just mixed the newest song, blah, 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 and he turned it into a whole new record. So that's the EP we're working on, where I'm writing all the lyrics and she's doing the singing. But she has a killer solo project in the works as well. So that's just another person I feel lucky that we crossed paths and we're working. I'm doing the same thing with Andrew Thomas now. I'm working with something on him. Working on something with him.
Do you know when we're going to expect that project from the two of you?
From the Denisha. We're talking about that now. She's really big. She's excited about all the videos that are coming, and so she wants to do the same for this project. So right now, that's the focus, is getting some videos done with it before we release it.
What's it like writing, like, singing instead of rapping? Like, writing actual, like, lyrics to songs instead of verses for rap type thing?
Sometimes it's nicer, because you don't have to get as complex, and it can have this deep meaning. So I'll sing things, squeak them out, send them out to singers, and then they'll do it justice and sing it correctly, add a little twist of their own to it. And she's just someone that we had linked up on a few things, and she killed it. And I was like, hey, by the way, I write. And she's like, well, let me hear it. And then the first one I sent her was How to Satisfy Your Lover. And she was like, yep, let's do it next week. And so top of the week came, and she recorded it in like a half hour. And so, yeah, I mean, like I said, when you work with cats that are that talented, it's a much easier process.
Good stuff. I tried. Anything else? We mentioned all kinds of anything else upcoming that I'm missing?
Anything upcoming that you're missing? Nothing that I'd like to spill yet. Nothing that I have to spill the beans on.
I already juiced enough out of you.
I will say this. Watch out for me and Sly are producing ScienZe's next project.
Yes.
And we dropped the intro to that, Pray Tell. That's coming. That's going to be something special. And me, YC, ScienZe, and Soulcon have something coming.
Oh my god.
That's going to be kind of crazy.
That's really crazy. I'm getting up on it now, but people like Soulcon, people like YC, I'm just like, oh my god, like these people are so dope. Like I was sleeping for so long, but that's like my favorite people out here right now. So to know that all of you guys are doing a record, that's about it. Have a special Sunday. Stay special. For Special Sundays radio show every Sunday 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and everything special, check out specialsundays.com.